reception. I'm going to write you all of the lowercase letters with the exact formation. You need to be doing it at home in your red books. So let me show you. We'll start with A. So you start on the blue line, you lead in, stop, back round, up and lead out. I'll do one more. Lead in, stop, back round, up and lead out. Can you practice these at the same time as me? A. There is your A, or the A sound. Let's move on to the next one. B, B. This is your letter B. So you start at the line, all the way to the red line, back down the same line, stop at the blue line, back up to the other blue line, around and lead out. You'll get the hang of it the more you do it. Lead in, always to the top line, back down, back up to the blue and lead out. Use the lines to really help you. So start at this bottom blue line, sorry, up to the red line, back down the same line, back up to the blue line, which is halfway, around and flick. And I'll do one more. Perfect. Okay, now we're going to do our letter C, which is the K sound. Start at the line, lead in, stop, back round. That's it for this one. So some of them you'll notice you lead in, you stop, back round yourself. That's for quite a few of the letters. Lead in, stop, back round. Simple as that. Lead in, stop, back round. Staying in between those two blue lines. Now the next one. D or D. Lead in, stop, back round. Almost like an A, but you keep going all the way to the red, back down and flick. Lead in, round, back to the red, all the way down and flick. There we go. Perfect. And the next one, F, or the letter E. This one you start at the blue line. You go like this. That's all you need to do. You lead in, back round on yourself and sit it back on the line. Like this. There we go. This is the tricky one, F sound, which is the sound. Start at the blue line, go slightly higher than the other blue line, slightly lower than that blue line, and come back like this. Okay, start at the blue line, slightly higher than the top blue line, back down a straight line, slightly lower than that blue line, not quite at the red, and flip round. So you're not quite hitting the red either side. Lead in, straight down, lead out, lead in, straight down, lead out. It's actually one of my favourite ones to do. It's got A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Let's do G together. So start at the line, lead in, stop, back round, all the way to the top. Come down as though you've got an A, but you keep going to that red line and you flick like this. Lead in, stop, back round, up to the blue line again, all the way down to the red and around like this. Do another two. There we go. And now we're on to H, which is the sound. So you start at the blue line, all the way up to the red, straight back down the same line, over and lead out. Lead in, all the way to the red line, straight back down, over the hill and lead out. All the way to the red line, straight back down the same line, back over halfway, over the hill and lead out. And the last one. There we go. And then we're on to I. I is really simple. You lead in up to the blue line, lead out to the blue line. Take pencil off, and it's a dot. We're not doing circles, just a dot. So you lead in, lead out. Looks a bit like a banana skin, look. And a dot. Lead in, lead out, and a dot. Lead in, lead out, and a dot. Simple. Okay, now on to J. So you start at the bottom blue line, go up to the top blue line, you lead in, all the way down to the red blue line, flick, like this, let go, and a dot. It's a bit like an I and a G all together with these flicks. So, do it again. Start at the bottom blue line, lead in to the top blue line, straight line all the way to the red, do your swirly little flick, back up, let go, and a dot. I'll show you. Like this. Lead in, straight down, loop, pencil off, and a dot. Okay, now we're on to our kicking. Okay, so we're going to lead in from the blue line, all the way to the red, straight back down to the blue, back up to that top blue line, and then you kick around and lead out. There we go. So, from the blue line, all the way up to the red, straight back down that same line, back up halfway to that blue line, in a little loop, back in, and kick it out. Lead out line. Take your time getting these correct. Up, down, loop, and kick. There we go. And then I'll fit one more on this page. So you start at the blue line, all the way up to the red, all the way down, and flick. Nice and simple. Start at the blue line, all the way to the red, all the way down, and flick. From the bottom blue line, all the way to the red, back down the same line, look, and flick. Bottom blue line, all the way to the red, same line, and flick. As you're all. Next one. So we're going to go from the blue line. We're going to go lead in, straight back down, over the mountain, lead out. So we're going to lead in, back down a straight line, over the mountain, lead out. Lead in, straight line down, over the mountain, lead out. You can see I'm staying in between these two blue lines for this one. Over the mountain, flick. Then we've got the sound, which is the letter N. And we're going to do, it's very similar to this one, but you don't do two mountains. It's almost just like one. So you lead in, straight back down, over, lead out. That's all it is. Lead in, straight line down, back over, lead out. Show you again. Right. Next letter we're going to do is the O sound, the O. So for this one, you're going to put your pencil or your pen on the bottom blue line. You're going to lead in, back round, which we've practiced loads now, into a circle shape, and lead out. So you lead in, you stop, around the orange, stay at the top, and flick. You lead in, around the orange, stay at the top, and flick. You lead in, back round, and flick. And then we're on our P sound, which is the p. So we're going to go from the bottom blue line, lead in, all the way down in a straight line to the red, all the way back up to the top blue line, around, and lead out. So from the blue line, lead out like that. Lead in, all the way down to the red line, all the way back up, around, and flick. You can see I don't take my pencil off. Lead in, all the way down, straight back up the same line, around, and flick. Okay, now on to our Q sound. Okay, so you're going to lead in, stop, back round, all the way up. Looks a bit like an O, but now we're going to go a straight line all the way down to the red and flick out like this. So you lead in, stop, all the way round, back up to the blue line, down in a straight line to the red, and a little angled flick like this. Show you again, stop, around to there, straight line down and flick. Now on to R, which is the sound. From the line, bottom blue line, lead in, straight line down to the bottom blue line, over like that. Lead in, straight down, over. Lead in, straight down, over. Lead in, straight down, over. Now onto our S sound, which is the S. So, this looks very confusing. It's quite simple the more you practice it. So you lead in, stop, you go down the snake, and you lead out. There we go. You lead in, stop, round the snake, and lead out. There we go. Lead in, stop, around that snake, and lead out. Lead in, stop, around that snake, and lead out. Now we've got the letter T. So you start from the line, you lead in, but you go all the way up to the red line. All the way back down that same line and flick, almost like a but then we just need to put a cross through it. So it's like the sound with a cross through it. So all the way up, all the way down that same line and split it at the end and across. So lead in, all the way to the red line and lead out and across. You guys are good at that one. There we go. Now onto the U sound, which is the Okay, so we're going to lead in, up to the blue line, down, loop up, and out. So from the blue line, lead in, straight line down, keep coming it up, and out like this. Just follow me. Blue line, lead in, down and up, down and flip, down, like this. And then we're on to our V sound, which is the V. So you lead in, it's like an angled line, flick. So I'll do that again for you. You lead in, angled line, and flick it out. Lead in, angled line, lead out. Okay, now we're on to W. Show you the W one. So you lead in. It's a bit like a V, but you do an extra one. So you go straight down, straight up, straight down, straight up, and flick. Lead in, straight down, straight up, straight down, straight up, and flick. So it looks like two V's together. And that's our W sound, our w for wind. The more you practice, the easier this will get, guys. Now onto our X sound. So you lead in, straight down, and lead out. Take your pencil off, and then you come from here, straight up. You lead in, straight down, and you lead out. Little flick like that. Then take your pencil off and cross it off. Make your X sound, which is a X. Lead in, straight down, lead out. There we go. X sound. Two more to go. This is our our Y sound. So you start at the line, you lead in to that blue line, do a loop like an come down, but you're going to keep going straight down to the red line and out. Like this. Lead in, down and up, straight down to that red line and do your lovely loop. And your final sound for today, guys. You're going to do your Z sound, which is Z. So you're going to lead in. You go straight across that blue line. Use the blue line to help. Straight down at an angle and straight across. So you lead in, straight across that blue line, straight down and across. So you're using the blue lines to help here. Lead in, straight across, down, straight across. Lead in, straight across, down. And that's all the sounds you will ever need to write. Thanks for watching, guys. Keep practicing and it will come.